Thank you, Abhinav, and to all at FCDI for inviting me to share some of our ideas and work in this wonderful forum. We are a relatively small architecture and interior design firm based in Bangalore, with my partner Amrish and I heading the firm as its principals with a team size of under 20 architects and interior designers. What I want to focus on today is on how narratives get woven into our projects. Our approach to architecture has always been to find a rooted and contextual approach. Our approach to interiors has always been more about looking at the visceral qualities of an interior space and less about surface application. As architects and interior designers, I sometimes feel that we have a unique vantage point from where to view the development of our projects and to judge the right amount of intervention needed in them. The conversations I had with my client were about letting the natural sea breezes in and avoiding air conditioning, to have most of the house open to the elements since security was not much of a concern, that materials should age gracefully and that furniture should be hardy, that his days would be spent on the decks by a large pool, reading, meditating, swimming, and practicing yoga, and nights would be a retreat to his bedroom. The house remains contextual, yet does so without borrowing its form from vernacular Kerala architecture. It is contextual in its climate responsiveness, allowing only half of its built-up area to be defined by four walls, keeping the rest intelligently permeable to the elements. We avoided glass completely and made use of the strong tradition of carpentry in Kerala by crafting a system of sliding and folding louvered shutters so that we could control light, breeze, and view. The materiality, as well as furniture and accessories, were kept simple and minimal so as not to distract from the wonderful natural environment. Seeking a peaceful oasis from the stresses of life, the homeowners wanted a space to breathe, a veranda to watch the rain fall, and a garden to potter about in. They wanted a contemporary design, yet were nostalgic about old Bangalore. And since they were avid readers, they needed a space to accommodate their ever-growing collection of books. The outcome of this highly textured house is a bricolage of old and new. The nostalgia of bringing in hints of colonial architecture that they had grown up with, accommodating the old pot, the ancestral swing, her grandfather's writing desk. The library is given importance as a central space as it combines various activities of the family and provides an anchor to the house. It has carefully demarcated spaces for lounging, studying, listening to music, playing the piano, and entertaining in an open plan layout, and spills out into an ample veranda, deck, and garden, creating one seamless and interconnected living space. In a rare 16,000 square foot site with many mature trees, we felt the need to create an architecture in harmony with the natural surroundings. Inspired by the vernacular, contextual in its materiality, yet peppered with international style markers in its interior treatment. We arrived at an architecture of sloped Mangalore tiled roofs and rough-cut Shira walls, contrasted with floors of kota and joinery of teak. In the semi-open foyer, a series of vertical ribbed timber louvers provide a gentle filtered divider between the threshold of the house and the garden beyond. In the grand living space, an arresting burnt orange spiral staircase is sculpted out of a shell of mild steel with timber treads. The large swaths of kota stone are broken by a vibrant ikat patterned carpet and bright color scheme in the furniture. The art and sculpture are by contemporary Indian artists. The living areas open to a wooden deck that continues into a wraparound veranda overlooking a lush internal courtyard garden. Shiro recycles an old Bombay dyeing mill building in Mumbai and is a surreal fantasy woven around our travels to Southeast Asia. What is exciting about this project is the high degree of customization we were able to achieve in creating larger-than-life statuary by a group of skilled sculptors in Mumbai, adept at making Ganesh idols. Light fixtures, furniture, and accessories were customized specifically for the 45-foot lofty scale of the space. Blocks of hand-dressed granite took 6 months to chisel with workers in a stone yard outside Bangalore. We created strong Pan-Asian overtones and clever interpretations of Japanese, Chinese, and Balinese elements. The central feature in the Bangalore space is a monumental 25-foot high head of a Balinese consort, adorned with rows of golden teardrops hanging from her neck. Customization extends further in this restaurant, which was a collaboration between us and graphic designers TSK Design. We inserted a series of repetitive woodens into each of the existing ceiling coffers, forming a warm, textural ceiling grid. Juxtaposing the warm space is a stunning red screen in which utilitarian kitchen utensils have been transformed into a whimsical art installation. Giant outlined cutouts of kitchen tools clad in smoked veneer form pivot screens which allow for integration and separation of the chef's table from the main space. Central to the dining area is a seating cluster surrounded by a central pebbled water feature. Hovering low above the water is an arresting suspension light fixture of mica and brass, custom designed by us. As architects and interior designers, our sphere of influence is usually limited to our fields of expertise. However, in Loft 38, an entertainment hub that we created on one of Bangalore's prime high streets, we tailor-made not only the space. We worked at identifying the gap in the market and the potential end user, helped identify the property, helped define the genres of music to be played, and the type of music, the food to be served. The form of the structure draws inspiration from traditional barn architecture with its voluminous interior shell and overriding gable roof. We chose to contemporize this typology for the possibilities it offered as a theatrical space. Various levels or lofts within a larger volume interact seamlessly with one another, while freeing sightlines from the stage at one end and the DJ booth at the other. Our primary objective while displaying Good Earth's extensive range of products was to reflect the brand's vision of sustainable luxury by making effortless and responsible choices in the spatial flow and choice of materials. One of the challenges of the existing house with several disconnected small rooms was to visually free the space for a meaningful retail experience. On the ground floor, we created 3 successive linear bays running north-south and connected to one another for a seamless spatial flow. In the entrance courtyard, we intervened by inserting a covered pavilion and a veranda at its 2 ends, one serving as an organic cafe and the other as entry to the store, as well as a connector between 2 levels. The materials used are natural and recycled, reclaimed crate wood on ceilings and shelving, polished cement and white brick on walls. These were used to give a feeling of lightness and bring the product to the forefront. Also to reiterate the elements that the brand stands for: natural, handcrafted, and sustainable. Integral to the concept of the art school is the journey of an artist, interpreted as a central axis running east-west along the entire length of the site. The 2 buildings of the art school, one for art instruction, primarily housing painting, sculpture, and textile studios, and the other with a lecture hall and display galleries, are connected by an internal bridge. The building is viewed from the outside as a composition of abstract sculptural forms of varying material and texture that emerge from a central spine of yellow slate. The internal volumes are filled with a wonderful quality of north light. via a series of skylights so as to minimize the use of artificial light during the day. Rather than any other surface application, it is the even quality of natural light in the central double-height gallery that defines the interior spaces of this institution. There are times when a certain set of constraints in a project creates an unexpected result. The challenge here was to design and construct a 35,000 square foot kindergarten school within a 6-month period at an efficient cost of 1,200 rupees per square foot, inclusive of the interiors. We adopted a basic 35 feet by 20 feet classroom module, stacked it horizontally and vertically like building blocks, and added layers of intervention. Classrooms flank a single loaded corridor that hold durable, brightly painted corrugated sheets wrapping around the perimeter of a central open-to-sky courtyard. Terracotta jalis act as a perforated skin, allowing the building to breathe and filtering the harsh western sun. The efficiencies of working with a low budget and strict timelines did not allow us the luxury of separate budgets for the architecture and interior design. So the visual impact and the comfort of the interior spaces are a direct result of the stripped down materials used architecturally and the play of light through them. In a picturesque site located in the Western Ghats, perched on the backwaters of the Pavna Reservoir and surrounded by the Sahyadri mountain ranges, we envisioned a house as a single-level pavilion spatially subdivided into 2 primary zones, one for engagement with the view during the day, and the other as a quiet retreat at night. The living spaces are extroverted and permeable, allowing nature to penetrate its envelope. The private spaces are introverted and protected. One of the challenges of the pavilion was to admit the right quality of natural light into its internal volumes. To this end, we created a series of north skylights to illuminate the internal spaces evenly. The angular shapes of the skylights were inspired by the looming profile of the Tungi mountain peak to the west of the house and the Tikona fort to its east. It made sense to use the readily available local basalt stone, which was found on the site just 5 to 6 feet below ground. We used the stone as a random dry pack cladding along the entire extent of the exterior walls and on a few accent interior walls. The contoured land allowed us to work with the natural topography of the site. Rather than creating a split-level house to negotiate the slope, we created a retaining wall enclosure and a ramp alongside it to arrive at the entrance 3 foot 6 inches below. We had to exercise a great deal of restraint in the furniture and accessories, choosing to customize each piece to be in harmony with the architectural intent. Accessories were all sourced from Maharashtra, brass and copper vessels from Nasik, and Bidri ware from Aurangabad. The primary objective of the house was to absorb the natural environment, to open itself up to the view. But in doing so, we had to remain cognizant of the physical presence and the environmental of the impact of the architecture on the hill. The barrage of seductive imagery thrown at us every day by the internet and through product offerings can so easily lead to a cookie-cutter approach in every project. Our challenge today is to transcend the same and create a truly meaningful and thoughtful response to a client brief and to a site. In India, we still have the ability to customize solutions at a relatively low cost, and we can intelligently use this as a springboard to create original and rooted work, one that is contextual, relevant, and reflective of our end users' needs. Thank you.